If you look in Exodus 2:12, it says that Moses strikes a slave driver. Now, if you look at the Hebrew word naha, it means to, it's the same word that's used for smiting by God. It's forceful, it's violent, it's lethal. And a lot of Jewish tradition teaches that Moses killed this slave driver with a single blow. Essentially punched the guy in the head so hard that it killed him.
And one thing you got to consider is the Egyptian slave driver's point of view. Yeah, it's horrible that he's a slave driver, but that was the culture and custom back then, and he's following orders, and all of a sudden this prince of Egypt shows up. What are you going to do? Fight back? You think that's going to go good for you? It's the prince, right? You're going to be put to death. So all you could do is just sit there and be killed.
That's a lot of rage. Now you might be wondering what would lead to that? Like why where did this come from? Well, there's some things that could kind of explain that as well too. So, for example, Moses describes himself as being slow of speech. Well, some people say that's because he didn't speak Hebrew. There's a theory that leans more towards that. I personally think
that Moses had a speech impediment or a stutter.
one of the things that causes a child to get a speech impediment is severe trauma, specifically being abandoned by parents. Now, when Moses was little, he had an adopted mother, Bithia, who was an Egyptian, and he had Jochebed, which was his biological mother. And Jochebed would actually nurse him, so he would go back and forth from his biological mother to his adopted mother. And that would be really traumatic for a little kid. On top of that, Moses, as a kid, all the way growing up, he would see Hebrew slaves being brutalized, being killed, being beaten. And Bithia may have told him, those are your people. That would be really hard. And so that causes a stutter, that causes a fear. And one thing that there's a lot of studies that show that people that have stutters, not all of them, but people with stutters have a higher inclination towards violence because they can't express their feelings. So they go straight to using physical action to express themselves.